Hey YouTube, welcome back. Glad I kicked the bug. We had some snow recently and it's time to heat up the shop again and melt the snow off the roof. So I got the forge running right now. You can probably hear it blasting in the background. And there she is. But I'm going to show you a progress update from the video yesterday. Anybody that knows me knows that I am not a welder. I have 3 welding machines, but I don't weld. But I did manage to weld this rebar handle onto our experimental piece of Damascus. What I'm going to do is heat this up a few times and run it through the hammer, see how far I can stretch this thing out, and hopefully my weld takes and it doesn't fall off. So yeah, got the forge running, and look at that. I can just put it right in the fire and take it right back out. So we're gonna let that little beast heat up and do some hammering to see what happens to that weld. Hopefully it holds. Not too bad. Handle works out pretty good. It is warm though on this end because the heat's traveling through the rebar. But yeah, I'll probably switch over and use my welder's gloves so I don't burn my hand up. Now, I must say, I love my forge setup. The steel gets hot pretty quick once it's been in its first heat, and you put it in, it heats right back up. So far, the weld is it's holding. Pretty happy with that. But yeah, we're getting pretty thin. Next step is probably going to be to cut it into 3 or 4 pieces, clean up the surface material and everything, and stack it, weld it, and hopefully it'll forge weld again under the weight of the hammer. So that is going to be the next step of the process. Alright, I've got this hammered out about as thin as I want it, or about as thin as it's going to get. So now, in order to get a good clean forge weld on the pieces that I'm going to cut, I need to clean up the outside material so that it's fresh and it's just steel. So hope you guys don't mind the noise of the grinder, just once again, but it's a part of the process. I'm going to take a pause for an educational moment. All these different spots that are not coming out clean, those are inaccurate hammer strikes, because I was just pounding away and not thinking about the consistency of where the hammer hits it. But it can be sanded out, which is what I'm doing. So with any luck, I don't lose too much material trying to fix these imperfections. And yeah, I'm just going to carry on. Again, it's an experiment. You know, what can you do? Aside from listening to WRIF and enjoy the music. Just another tidbit while I'm working on this. It's getting there. What I'm using on my belt sander is a 50 grain or 50 grit belt. It's really good for stock removal. So I'm going to keep at it, and I'll show you when I'm done. So after much grinding, I didn't want to get the steel too thin, but it's pretty clean, much cleaner than it was. The delaminations, and that's what they're going to call these pieces here, if I try to weld it together, it's not going to take because it's not clean steel. So it's going to be a pocket because those are all indents. That's what I want to try to avoid. You see this piece here, it's not flat like the rest of this where it's all shiny. So I'm gonna keep on grinding on this and go from there. But yeah, so it's time consuming and whatnot, but it'll get there. If I want to weld it all together and make some Damascus, I gotta take my time and make sure I do it correctly, because again, it's an experiment. We'll see how it goes. So here's where we stand. I've got it cleaned up really well, and I'm satisfied right now. But after doing some research, I realized that I used the wrong term. All those pieces in there that were lower than the rest before I started sanding, I said that it would cause delaminations. That's not the right term. Delaminations are when you get cracks in the blade that run through the blade itself. What I was talking about was cold shuts, which is when you have a deeper pit when you put the two pieces of steel together and it doesn't forge weld or squeeze together. So yeah, I educated myself while I was in the house. Yeah, we're gonna continue this probably tomorrow on my day off, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful Monday and get some dinner.